Coming up, a special edition of 12 News, our favorite stories of 2014.
All I have to do is think about my granddaughter, my daughter, and all those people I've met along the way with cystic fibrosis.
How one man sets out to help others despite his own challenges. Plus, what got these students cheering? And how a local mail carrier is delivering more than packages along her route. And timing is everything, but don't tell that to baby Precious. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a look at some of our favorite stories of 2014.
They're favorites for different reasons. Sometimes it's overcoming obstacles, helping others in need, or just a matter of stepping up in a difficult situation. And that's where we start. An early November snowfall will always be remembered by one Brooklyn Park family.
Sonia Goen spoke to them shortly after a very special delivery.
That was the first day of winter. It was snowing and a lot of traffic.
Reggie and Henrietta Anderson were doing what a lot of Minnesotans were doing on Monday morning, sitting in traffic.
And we were just caught up right in that traffic, trying to make our way to Methodist Hospital.
Henrietta wasn't expected to deliver the couple's baby until the following week, but she was already having labor pains, so they headed to the hospital.
It was just fast.
The drive from Brooklyn Park to Methodist Hospital is about 20 minutes, but that time was nearly doubled with all the snow.
When we take a turn on Highway 100, the pain, she's like, no, it's really coming.
I felt like the baby was coming, so I just told him, just pull over, I can feel your head coming out.
They made an emergency stop on Highway 100 and France Avenue and called 911.
911, this is Debbie.
Yes, my wife is having a baby on the road.
Okay, where?
The baby is coming out. We're on Highway 100. The baby is already out.
The baby was crying, right?
Yes, the baby is still out.
Okay, that's good.
Henrietta delivered the baby in the front seat of the SUV with no pain meds.
Right down here. That's when I grabbed the baby in this space. The door was open, so all the cold wind was coming in the car.
Baby Reggie Lynn Marvelous Rebecca Anderson made it into the world weighing 7 pounds, 5 ounces.
That's why her name is Marvelous. It's incredible. It's a miracle.
The Andersons say they didn't have time to be afraid. They relied on their faith to get them through.
I think we should give all the glory to God, because in those moments, I mean, it's hard for you to stay calm, stay focused.
The family says they're lucky because so many things could have gone wrong.
I think we were blessed. I think it was just one of those things. You don't get up every morning and say, well, today I'm going to deliver my own baby.
Baby Marvelous is now 6 weeks old and doing fine.
In Brooklyn Center, one big family got a little bigger on National Adoption Day. Gloria and Melvin Abbott have 2 grown sons and 9 grandchildren. On one Saturday in November, though, they became one of 26 Hennepin County families to become new parents again. They adopted 21-month-old Max, and Gloria has been Max's foster mom since he was 2 weeks old.
We really did not want to see him, go back into the system. I think that kids, they get a bad deal anyway. So I just didn't want to see him go back. So as a Christian woman, knowing that we are to have compassion for others and we are to feed and clothe, others. So my faith plays a lot in it.
Back in January, we met a man who helps young children learn to read.
Now, he was part of a program at Brooklyn Center Schools that emphasizes early childhood literacy. But there's another reason this is one of our favorite stories, as Shannon Slatton explains.
Table 2.
One of the first steps toward educational success begins here.
C.
In circle time.
What sound does C make?
As 4-year-olds start learning how to read.
If kids enter kindergarten behind, it's really hard for them to catch up.
Let's go over here.
Brooklyn Center has expanded its preschool program.
Good artiste, eh?
And enlisted the help of the Minnesota Reading Corps.
There we go.
To emphasize literacy.
Reading Corps is just a really great way for us to give children the best opportunities in literacy when they're this young.
What letter does Cook start with?
Reading Corps members like 23-year-old Jordan Richardson.
C.
No, it's much more fun to learn about, say, the letter C.
Carl Cook.
From Carl the Cook, from...
I'm from Canada, eh?
You guessed it. Canada.
That's right.
Jordan works with students one-on-one and in small groups.
What letter does pencil start with, Anastasia?
In hopes students share his love for reading.
Literacy is actually one of my passions.
But Jordan reads his books in a different way.
It's like a Braille laptop.
Jordan is legally blind.
I do call myself blind.
Well, at first I thought it was going to be a lot more challenging. I thought the students would make more comments.
Jar.
But that hasn't been the case.
It's been wonderful.
Bell.
He's been a huge help.
Instead, teachers say Jordan has been an invaluable asset.
It's been a gift in more than one way. Literacy, and also just because having a male and someone with differing abilities in our classroom, the kids have just really taken to him.
In showing a love of reading can apply to everyone.
Get them to see books as fun, books as an adventure, so that later on they can be like, oh, reading books. I like that. Good job, guys.
A grandparent's love for a child knows few boundaries.
That's why David Keene is taking extreme measures to help his granddaughter fight cystic fibrosis, no matter what his own challenges are. Delane Cleveland caught up with him on a running track in Brooklyn Park.
With school not yet in session, the Champlain Park football field serves as a practice space for the band.
Ready? Yep. Okay.
But if you look closely this week at the surrounding track, you'll find David Kuhn making the rounds.
The principal and the activities director just welcomed me with open arms.
David made his way here from DeKalb, Illinois, and he's on a mission to run 20 miles a day around the perimeter states of the U.S. until he reaches 11,000 miles. But he's not doing it for personal gain.
I have a 12-year-old granddaughter that has cystic fibrosis. It's a pretty terrible disease.
So day after day, week after week, David finds himself on a different track in a different state, running with different people, all in the name of his granddaughter.
Whatever it takes to raise money for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation.
His partner this morning is Brent Johnson of Champlain.
I thought I'd come out here and run with him. It'd be pretty cool experience just to meet David and it's really impressive, what he's doing.
Impressive not just because of the miles he's accumulating, but because David is also blind. Has been since an accident with a drunk driver back in 1981.
No anger, no sadness. Wouldn't mind having my eyesight back, but it's not, the end of the world.
Yet he says his impairment is nothing compared to what his granddaughter endures every day.
They develop an awful lot of mucus in the body, and it's really thick, awful stuff.
So until he's run the equivalent of 420 marathons and achieved his goal of raising $500,000 on behalf of Kylie, this 62-year-old will keep at it.
All I have to do is think about my granddaughter, my daughter, and all those people I've met along the way with cystic fibrosis, and, I think really, come on, quit complaining.
In Brooklyn Park, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
Coming up, she saw a need and decided to do something about it.
The story of how a mail carrier is going the extra mile for people in need. A letter carrier from Crystal got our attention this year. Tanya Nelson kicked off the holiday season in a big way.
She started a Facebook page where people can adopt families down on their luck this holiday season. As Cassie Bonstrom reports, in under a week, the response was overwhelming.
Everybody is just so nice, and they like to chit-chat, and their dogs are friendly.
For the past 5 years, Tanya Nelson has walked the same route, delivering not just letters and packages to these Crystal homes.
Hi, Gigi. Hi, baby girl.
But also a friendly smile and an open ear.
You have the uniform on, and they just trust you. I'm glad they do because I consider them my friends.
It's on this route that a neighbor opened up and asked for help.
There's a family that just moved in a few months ago. I found out was a military family, and they're living on very little, and they have 5 girls ages 3 to 13. And that's where the idea really started. So this is my page.
She went home and created a Facebook group where families in need could connect with families looking to help.
I'm a widowed father of 2, a 17-year-old girl and a 10-year-old autistic boy.
Within days, the Adopt a Family Angels page lit up with requests.
I have 233 unread messages.
The response has left Tanya feeling both overwhelmed at the number of struggling families.
They're not asking for like an Xbox for their kid, or they're asking for hats, scarves, boots.
And grateful for all those stepping up to lend a hand.
And it makes me very happy to know that there are still people out there that are willing to, without knowing who these people are, help. And that's a big thing. That's a big thing.
She never expected a simple conversation to touch so many hearts.
And I currently have my phone on vibrate. It just keeps going off and off and off with people wanting to help and people needing help.
But this letter carrier is glad that she can play a small role in delivering holiday cheer to those who need it most.
It's amazing. We have a lot of work to do.
In Crystal, I'm Cassie Bonstrom, 12 News.
And Tanya was able to match more than 200 families. She's hoping one day she can turn this effort into a nonprofit organization. The holidays are known for gift giving, but back in July, we ran into a group anxious to give something back to students.
For alums of Robbinsdale High, the closing of their school in 1982 left many feeling as if they had lost their home. But this year, a few people set out to change that. The school pride swelled last year as thousands of Robins flocked to the old Robbinsdale High School for an all-class reunion.
Schwartz.
Howard Schwartz,
There I am.
class of '69,
Add more hair. Love the Buddy Holly glasses.
knew that Robin spirit
Well, I have yearbooks.
needed a home
Junior in '68.
after the reunion.
We knew we had to do something more.
Introducing the Robbinsdale High School Alumni Association, a nonprofit formed this year to give back to the district.
We're really excited about getting back into the life, the ethos, if you will, of this district, and to be welcomed to do it.
Now a middle school, this building served more than 22,000 students from 1956 until 1982, when Robbinsdale High School closed due to shrinking enrollments.
Many of the alumni from Robbinsdale High School initiated the process to designate this as a historical site. Yep.
Letitia Gray of the Robbinsdale District says the creation of an alumni association is a gift to students who will benefit from donations and volunteer hours.
It's certainly a win-win for our district because when people see them in our schools, they know, wow, look at these great successful people and they are part of this district.
We had a lot of kids in band and orchestra when we went to school. I mean, we were something.
You can almost feel the pride when Howard Schwartz talks about his old school. Now he's recruiting other Robins back to the nest for the sake of the next generation.
Calling all Robins to get involved, to care about these kids like we cared about our own school, and to do what we can to make this district the prideful district that we all recall participating in as students.
Since forming, the Robbinsdale High School Alumni Association has donated $4,000, and the Alumni Association has also provided a new flag stand and collected coats for students at Robbinsdale Middle School. Still ahead, some guys who are champions in more ways than one.
And later, a prom date that had the whole school cheering. Well, this summer, we got a chance to talk with some champions about their sport.
The 2014 Wheelchair Softball World Series was hosted in Brooklyn Park in August. The teams came from as far away as Japan, all with a passion for the sport. Eric Nelson spoke with a team that came north to Minnesota from the heart of Dixie.
1, 2, 3.
Here to win!
It means the world to most of us.
The Hurricanes blew into Brooklyn Park today, hoping to roll their way to wheelchair softball success.
Basically a team representing Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and one from South Carolina.
Oh, yeah! They were laser focused going into their World Series game against Illinois.
Win or lose, we go home together. We travel together. We're still practicing together.
Deep South pitcher Chris Etheridge.
Hey, we're here to win and to work hard, hey, and to give everything we've got every play.
Is the quintessential wheelchair softball player.
The chair changes nothing. When we line up against the 10 that we're playing, there is a beyond average disdain for each other.
He was seriously injured in a car accident 9 years ago in Mississippi.
It's life, brother. I'm a much better guy now than I was before I got hurt.
For a softball junkie like Etheridge, it was devastating.
When I got hurt, I thought softball was behind me, that it was done.
But thanks to rolling softball, Etheridge has kept his passion alive.
And then people need to understand is that most of these wheelchair athletes were athletes before we got hurt. And you look for an outlet, and you know, depression can come. If you don't find it, all kinds of bad things can come.
The benefits of active living are no different for a person with a disability than an able-bodied person. Some might argue even more important, more impactful.
Etheridge and the Hurricanes are impressed by the state-of-the-art venue in Brooklyn Park.
Fence, a school board, this is the real thing, as real as we'll probably ever get again. And so it puts us back where we were before we got hurt.
It's a good thing for the community, and it just demonstrates a commitment to play for all people.
The Deep South Hurricanes came in 12th place at the Wheelchair Softball World Series.
The home team, the Minnesota Rolling Twins, took the championship for the second time in the last 4 years. Well, coming up, we will revisit a special prom night.
Why students had good reason to stand up and cheer.
And finally, prom is a special night for many high school students.
For 2 Park Center High School students, the big dance was a dream come true. Sonia Goins has the story of Park Center's prom king and queen.
I was so excited. It was probably one of the coolest things that I would have ever been able to do.
Austin Gurton and Jessica Vielander are still beaming from their magical prom night.
Getting to see how excited he was and how much fun he had, and being able to share that with him.
To get the significance of the night, we first have to go back to the beginning.
And I'd sit with him at lunch and say hi to him every day. And
the two met earlier this year as part of a mentoring program. They've been best buds ever since.
Ow.
Austin has Down syndrome and doesn't talk much.
You're gonna be shy?
But he was able to communicate with Jessica that he wanted her to be his prom date.
I thought it was super special. I thought it was so cool that he wanted to ask me and that he wanted to go, and he does love to dance, so I was so happy to be able to go with him.
A few days later, the seniors were nominated for prom king and queen. This is video of the senior court being announced during a pep rally. The students went wild when Jessica and Austin's names were called. A few days later, the king and queen were chosen.
I mean, I know I was nervous, and he seemed pretty cool about it all, so.
Austin and Jessica got a standing ovation from their fellow classmates.
It was surprising, but
in Jessica's eyes, Austin has always been royalty.
I guess it shouldn't have been as surprising as it was, because I don't get how you couldn't have him as your king.
Jessica says they had a good time dancing.
You a good dancer? Yeah.
They also took lots of pictures.
I had a lot of fun because I got to hang out with him all night, so that was really awesome.
But as special as this night was for Jessica and Austin,
everybody loves him here, so.
The night was also remarkable for Park Center High School as a whole.
We're all really supportive of each other, and we want to see each other strive to do good things.
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
It is easy to see why that's one of our favorite stories.
Yeah, it is. And the two said that they will continue to be friends even after graduation. And that's a look at some of our favorite stories of 2014. We hope you saw some of your favorites.
Thanks so much for watching, and we wish you a very happy holiday season.